I've been hearing for the past few years a lot of people say nightlife is dying. And I disagree with that. I think nightlife is actually evolving. And evolution is a good thing, by the way. If you are in nightlife, this may be a really good time. If you're not, it's also a good time to join us. And by the way, nightlife is evolving into something far greater. Um, so let me explain. These are the first. I'm going to mention the first few things that have been changing or shifting, in the past years or year mainly, and how you can not avoid but adapt to those changes, how you can use them to your advantage. Um, so the first thing is definitely a lot of the blame is going towards Gen Zers, but they're part of it. But remember this: a lot of Gen Zers are not even of legal drinking age yet. And actually, some of these guys are being the smart ones that are fixing some of the stuff that's happening. So let's get into them. The first issue that is happening is people are drinking less. Yes, are people drinking less? Well, I've been in the industry for 30 years and I haven't been drinking alcohol in the past 3 years. Obviously, I'm a Gen X. There's a point in life where you slow down. But from the generation that I come from, honestly, it used to be a celebrated thing. It used to be, you were pushed into it very early in your life, as a matter of fact. Um, if you did not drink, there was something wrong with you. And that also followed into the millennials as well. But they were the first ones to slow down a little, and then Gen X followed. Now, it's not just the alcohol, it is also that they're starting to think wiser, smarter. They don't listen to the previous generations, unfortunately, but they have access to a lot of information. So we used to benefit in the industry from selling alcohol. Yes, we sold experiences, we sold, I always said, we built memories, and it is true. But the biggest nights, those nights that people got wasted, what kind of memory are you building? It's a memory for others, but not yours. You really end up forgetting most of those, blacking out. So, point is this new generation, they're smarter about the things they do, where the things they put into their bodies, and they don't listen to us. So, one of the first things is they realize how bad alcohol is. And it is unfortunate, but it is bad. It's bad. It's bad in excess, and it's bad in small amounts as well. You know, coming from me, believe me, I feel like a hypocrite every time I say that. Every time I try to say that, because as you can see, uh, it's hard for me to say the word, even. But now I'm realizing it, and it's so much harder for me to, when I'm in the industry, to benefit from alcohol, to think of alcohol as the one way that I can benefit. I understand alcohol's not going anywhere yet. I believe, and I know I'm gonna get some, enemies on this one, but and fight back. But I believe that in the next 20 years, we're gonna see alcohol the same way that we currently look at cigarettes. And to get an idea, back when I was younger, so I lost my mother to cancer, lung cancer, due to what they used to do back then, which was smoke 2 packs a day of cigarettes. And it was a normal thing. Wherever you went, it smelled like cigarettes. It was awful. I have never smoked in my life. I guess my mom's thing hit me, and it made me take some better choices. But I definitely had a lot of drinks in my time. Um, so nowadays, I feel like, look, the next generation, I wouldn't want to give my kids alcohol. So why would I want to sell it to anybody, right? That's where I am today. I respect anybody that's out there and still selling alcohol, because there's still going to be alcohol. Part of the nightlife is alcohol, and part of the evolution doesn't mean that the alcohol is going to disappear completely, but there's definitely a slowdown in sales of alcohol. So what do you do about that? Well, they're drinking other stuff. So to start thinking of the other options. What are these other things that they want to drink? first, because yes, having something in your hand while you're hanging, having something that gives you a little bit of a, don't call it a buzz, but that makes you feel more social, not necessarily a buzz. My understanding is that all these new functional drinks, all of this new adaptogenic, botanical, all of this new, well, not new, but like kava, for example, which is very, very old, but and it's coming back. There's many more. There's kratom. There's a bunch of different drinks. Some of them not as good as others, or with not a good reputation or whatever from the past. So I would first look into what it is that you're again putting in your body. But some of these things are a solution. So you don't have to be thinking only of how do I get them drunk with drink, whatever. Like alcohol is not the one option. That's one. Two, and they also don't want to be overspending. So they're also thinking about how they're spending their money. That's another factor right there. What am I spending my money on? Which changed another part, which is also the times. That's the second factor there. They are partying. People are partying at a different time now. So when I was at my prime peak in the nightlife industry, the like one of the biggest things was the after parties. So especially industry people, everybody wanted to go to that after party after you closed the venue wherever you were working, right? That was a huge factor. And and a lot of those venues lasted a long time. Very famous venues, especially here in Miami, was very strong. New York, LA, many places. But the after parties, that is the first thing to slow down. What started happening? What did people start doing? What were the first causes that made these changes happen? And the first thing that I saw years back was this what do you call this? The dinner parties, right? Dinner parties became a thing, and it started to slow down the heavy, you know, black room with the lighting, all that the experience where all you did was okay, it's 1,500, 2,000, $5,000 depending on the city you're in, 20,000, $30,000 for the table, or what they called real estate. If you ask a new young promoter now, they're selling real estate in the clubs, right? It's awful. It's awful. What kind of experience is that? You're in a little squared area. Security won't let anybody come in, but they also won't let anybody go out. You can't really mingle with others unless they bring them to you. I don't know. That's not what it used to be. The experience of being able to walk around the venues, talk to the people, mingle with everybody, it's completely open. You come to mine, I go to yours. Again, it was so different back then. Hopefully some of that comes back because that's all what the whole hospitality thing is about. That. Then there's another factor here. Well, so after the dinner parties, which took from the I guess the late night to the dinner party, which made the nights already younger. Then this combination of food and drinking became a better experience to spend your money. Right? It's a wiser choice to spend your money on a food and drink combination than just paying for alcohol and figuring out this real estate issue and and making sure you bring the best group of people possible because you're not allowed to just go there. Um, this dinner party is a whole other experience. Everybody gets involved. Usually, when it's done well, it became this new thing, this new vibe. A lot of restaurants ended up trying to go in that direction, and it's unfortunate because if you're a good restaurant, you don't need to go that way. This was more of like the new lounge, um, you know, vibe. So when a club goes in that direction, it's very hard to get the food right first. Um, but if a restaurant joined the right people, did the right thing, a few places have done it right. This whole concept, which is more European, and everybody loves it. The older crowd loves the dinner party for sure. Spending their money on that, so that's part of where it started. Then it went down to brunching. right? Brunching, which was a thing on Sundays only, then it came to Saturdays as well, and brunch just it's again another party. There's a lot of alcohol involved, yes, in those brunches. It's liquid lunches or whatever, but it's part of this change. Now, after that came day parties in general. It just started to evolve. The day parties became a thing, and that's one of the things that you need to start thinking about. Like, why can't I, if I'm in the industry, why am I only throwing parties from 11 o'clock at night? Remember, you are a nightclub, you open at 11 at night, nobody shows up till midnight, and then at 3 a.m., everybody's drunk. 3 to 5 is awful because it's just fights and problems, right? You did yourselves in 3 hours a day, 2, 3 days a week, and that's it. You're paying for the real estate or rent or whatever it is that you got 24/7. So you're not taking advantage of that space during different times. That's, by the way, that's one of the things that I'm looking at the most right now is how to take advantage of real estate during those bad hours, those hours that you don't utilize, or those spaces as well. How do you do this? Well, day parties is one. There's a trend. I don't know how long this is going to last, but the coffee parties are a thing. Um, I'm actually working on a project myself that is going in that direction, and it's got coffee matcha by day, which is the trend thing, and then it continues to have party atmosphere, ambience or whatnot, but it evolves into a lounge, cocktail, social lounge, but it's all functional. There's no alcohol in this, and that's where I think things are going. That's where things are going for me. That's where I feel comfortable, doing a 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. kind of operation instead of till 5 a.m. or throwing after parties or what. And I got 3 kids. For me, it's a little different, but it depends on where you're at. Point is, that's the other change that's happening currently. Now, the last change or shift that I'm seeing has to do with social media. So, sorry, something flew over here. All right. So the last shift that I'm seeing here has to do with these new generations and social media. So definitely social media has pushed us apart. There's no doubt about that. But I am believing Gen X now. Gen X is us. Gen Z has actually realized that they need this connection, these relationships, this what they call IRL, right? In real life type events and experiences, right? This is not nightclubs alone, but you can take advantage of all these things because there's so many type of events that they're looking to be a part of. There's so many things happening, daytime stuff. I've seen run clubs growing like crazy. I've been seeing a lot of people talk about creating communities. A lot of people in that generation specifically. And every time that I talk to the people from the run clubs. I talk to the people from the coffee parties. I talk to the people from the communities that they're building. Everybody's basically using the same exact skills of a promoter. It's nightlife. That's what it is going towards. That is where we're, I guess, losing the people, the opportunities. So why aren't we the ones giving that to them? Why aren't we turning shit around and giving them those opportunities? Why don't we open earlier? Why don't we open our bar options to different types of products? Why don't we do, again, run clubs or coffee parties, or again, open up the types of opportunities? We are being too close minded as to what works, because we are stubborn and we loved the type of parties we used to throw, the type of events, the way the door used to work, and how hard it was for people to get in, and selling real estate, and being the hardest place to be in, or what. All those things were great back when they were a thing, but right now it's different, and community is needed. You need to build a community around who you can cater to, you need to build these types of events. It's you gotta adapt to what they want. So I think all of these changes that are happening right now in nightlife and in events, it's in general, are positive. It's good for humanity. I'm joining them. I definitely am. And I think we should all evolve with them. Talking about community and talking about nightlife, I put a different, I'm sorry, I put out a new book. It's actually called Nightlife Isn't Dying, it's Evolving. So I do talk about this and I talk about 20 other issues in the book. Um, put description down there. But I will also put a description down there to take you to our community of nightlife entrepreneurs because I think together we can definitely make this, just come back stronger than it ever was. Take care.